Hello and welcome back to today's episode. I want to touch bases with you on what is happening in the world and how is that affecting you and where is that coming from. There are many parts, many moving parts, but the biggest, the most important is the sound, is the frequency that we are in that is influencing the field of possibility, and whatever is there, it's affecting our lives. This is not accidental. This is something that is um, we contribute. Every one of us is contributing. But when comes a point where um, the frequencies are so wide and they cannot support a specific group of people, then um, if if there is no possibility to accommodate everyone, then the universe does the polar reversal. The magnetic field is going to be weakened, which is happening right now, and then in a few decades we are going to have the full polar reversal. Our sun is the device through which this whole thing is going to be happening. However, sun does not do that by itself. It's the galaxy that is helping. It's another contributing factor to how the sun is going to behave. What is going to happen, that micronova or whatever, super flare or whatever they call this, everybody is very cautious using the terms associated with it because they don't want to scare the hell out of you, but at the same time they do. So once that happens, the sun is releasing a huge amount of energy towards every single planet. This is a band of frequencies, not just one. It is a band because each segment of that band it's accommodating specific frequencies. Right now, we as humans, we have specific desires, and those desires are grouped, and each group the life experience requires a specific frequency. Therefore, the sun has to send that frequency into our field of possibilities so we can experience what we want to experience. However, if the range is getting wider and wider and the sun cannot accommodate that anymore, then the reversal is necessary. So it takes provides different conditions where we as a beings are going to have the field of our desire in front of us. This is associated usually with symptoms where on the outside they look very unpleasant, but the fear, the whole scare is coming from somewhere else. It was done over many years through many events, and people have programmed themselves that they are very scared, very afraid of dying. That if you were watching my videos, this is nothing more than transition from one experience to another, and this death, the damage of the physical body is necessary. So once the temple is not needed anymore, therefore needs to be disposed. That happened to dinosaurs or other species that were before us. They simply could not exist in the environment that was ready for them. Therefore, they were moved to a different conditions. They still are. They didn't die. The essence, the souls of that, or whatever you want to call it, they still do exist. They will always exist, except the conditions that they are in are different. And of course, as are we, so are any plants and animals that will be extinct. They still are given the chance to exist in different conditions. And so are we, since, as you can see around you, Um, we are divided into main two groups, which is the one group is the COVIDians, funny word, and the second group is non-COVIDians. We have less COVIDians than non-COVIDians. Uh, just have fun with that. You know which group you belong to, and I'm sure you understand why the non-COVIDians are the group of non-COVIDians is much higher. Within this, we are further divided. That there are people of great awareness. They understand a lot. They may not understand all the universal principles by which the universe is serving them, but still they at some subconscious level they understand that there is something else that helps them experience the life the way they do. And there are not so much. There are those which they don't really, they just wake up in the morning and they just they are like a zombies. They go through the motions, and then 20 years later they don't understand what happened and how that happened, and they even sink further. So to accommodate each one of those groups, right now we have this final class, I would say, the graduation moment, where the biggest focus should be for you on your values, or for your ideology of what is the ideal life for you, with what conditions. That's, you need to stick to that. You just don't be influenced by the outside with the scare tactics and the bullying by the institutions and what's not, because many of those institutions, um, they are not designed to do that. However, there are a few people there that are just complete wackos, and they are influencing what is happening. And all across the globe, you can see that somehow they managed to orchestrate this whole thing the way it is. However, there is something very important that you need to know, that we see the only one side of the coin. There is another one that is not explored. There is no one is talking about that. There is too much focus on the negative side. There is so much negativity. There is so much uh, alarmists talking how we are gonna be screwed, how we are gonna be vaccinated, everybody, how we are going to lose jobs, how this new dictatorship is coming in, and all kinds of stuff. But there is another layer, the other side of the coin, which no one is addressing, because basically those people, they don't really understand that there is another side of the coin. If you are looking at the situation and you uh, examine the facts that are in front of you, then you see that this is exposing how much this whole system is corrupted. It's exposing how much we are dependent of system that is broken, doesn't work, and blaming them, whoever that they might be, it's not a solution at all. And in fact, it may not be them at all. It is through the generations, by our um, input into what we were supporting. We were constantly supporting the system, the corporate system, the governments, the way they work. We shifted the power of making decision to those institutions, and they were simply pushing the envelope farther and farther and farther and farther, because there was no involvement on your parts. I mean, on your parts, by that means every one of us. We just didn't stood up for certain at certain points, at certain moments, and say no, we don't want that. This needs to change, and we are very dependent, like hospitals, the retirement, police, hospitals, banks, and other services that we 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 are not involved in this. This is out of our hands. There is this corporate system that took over, and they figure out that basically they can get away with so much. Not everyone, because smart people in that system, they do understand that we are in big trouble, uh, and it's time to change. Well, the people that are forcing the change, they don't have connection with the bottom, and the bottom is important because the bottom are the roots. This is where the feeding of the system is, and trying to change something from the top downwards, it's a it's a disaster. The changes need to happen on the bottom where we are, from the roots. That requires education. That requires explaining to people why this need to change. People need to understand that whatever they are at right now is not working for them, and that's why you see what you see. And there is this is the other side of the coin, that even though we are blaming certain people, certain institutions, certain organizations, societies, that they are involved in this, and you might be right, but the reason behind this not may not be the way you see it. It might be, maybe they are trying to help you understand how much this whole thing is screw up, and maybe that requires your involvement right now. But that needs to be done in very smart, not little way. However, when we are pushed into the corner, human psychology is such that we tend to respond with violence. We tend to respond in a very aggressive way, and there is a lot of blaming. We want to punish people. We want to go for the throat, as I call this. We just grab by the throat and choke them. That shouldn't be happening. That is not the best solution. And to turn from the situation that we are in into the situation where we want to be, it's a process and it takes time. Look at how long it, look at the last 1,000 years. We went from a shit where you remember the excuse me, the Catholic uh, executions, the Spanish Inquisition, the Catholic, the Christian Inquisition, the French, and so on, Portuguese, and all the colonizing of the world. And then somehow, from this mess, from the pain, from the blood, we managed to kind of organize ourselves better. But now, since we got very comfortable and cozy, again, the system got screwed up, and now we are in the situation as it is. However, when the universe is at the point where it cannot provide any more elements to all of us, because the field of possibility that we are in, it's accommodating a wide range of different individuals with different desires and different views and ideologies and what's not, and philosophical approach to life. Then that when the reversal happened. And I'm sure you heard about the last are going to be first. This is exactly what is happening. But don't uh, get your hopes high that since you were abused and exploited and so on, so now you are going to be in the position of power. That's not what this is all about. This is about your convictions, your ideals, your values. This is about you. You need to stick to that. You need to hang on for a little bit. It may take 10, 20 years. So having that frequency of that desire that you want the life in that specific way is going to be acknowledged, and you are going to be uh, attracted to that band of frequency, which is going to take you out from current situation and place you in different conditions. What we know about how life is organized and how it's proceeding is incorrect. We are scratching the surface right now, right this very moment, that we are waking up to the idea that what we see on the outside, it's just an illusion, that this is something that it's not even real. But people are afraid to step out of that comfort zone and say, yeah, it is. So it's time to change. And this can be, the transition can be much peaceful, much more peaceful than it's going to be, because excuse me, the hardest years in front of us is going to be the year from 2026 to 2033. This is where we are going to have the highest number of casualties. This is going to be the biggest mess in the world that is going to happen. Afterwards, there's going to be, of course, struggle, because those that will survive, they are going to be um, feeling very hopeless and they will not know which direction to go, because many things that they were taking for granted, they are not going to be there anymore. And whatever they thought is going to work for them, it may appear it's not. This is the point where you need to go beyond that. You need to look way into future, not just focus on little tiny things which are in front of you and they are obstacles. Every obstacle is obstacles in front of you are designed to help you develop your gifts, your mastery. This is the time where, as I said before, this is the graduating class. There are so many of us here because we are being uh, divided into many groups, and then we are going to be positioned in conditions which are suitable for your uh, personal desire. Of course, personal desires, they uh, match desires with others. They work within the same frequency. All right. So thank you for watching this brief video today. I am going to be diving further in deeper, helping you understand in depth what is about to happen and what you can do to stay focused, what you can do to follow your desire, to stay in that path, so you can be transformed into the conditions that you're really expecting to be. One thing that I want to tell you, forget about the money, because that thing is about to collapse completely in a few years. So whatever you do, you need to figure out how to get involved with other people, how to be organized in a group, not as an individual, but in a group. Take a look at the model of how bees or ants are cooperating, how this whole thing is working for them. You see, those are the little creatures that in our mind they should be all long extinct because of the weather and because of the conditions they have to face, yet they are here and they are going to outlive humans. Why? Because they have a common goal and they don't dispute. It's just they are focused at the task, what they have in front of you, which means to survival of the colony, and they do whatever is necessary to do that. You don't have to go to that extreme. You have at your disposal different tools, but the concept is the same. Just look how they are organized, how they cooperate, because that is your model for the future. If you don't do that, there is zero chance that you are going to be here on Earth. You are going to be set in different conditions. But then again, I will explain to you in some other videos if it's even worth it for you to try to survive, because what is going to be available for you for the next 200 to 300 years may not be in your alley. And since you are very dependent, you don't know how to grow things, how to survive in the wild, how to do simple things which requires the survival skills. You are not going to develop them over 1 or 2 years. It takes generations. It would have to take at least 5, 6 generations for you to be in those extreme conditions where you could possibly survive. But even then, the rate is not that great, and well, that's subject for some other time. Okay, so thank you. Please do subscribe to my video. Please click the notification bell so you will know when the new videos are. And please share with people like-minded, so they kind of can understand what is happening. And because my job is not to give you the all scare tactics or all the bad news. I want to give you as much good news as possible. I want you to be aware of who you are and understand what's the next thing you might expect and how you can contribute to that and how you can influence that. Because believe me, uh, you can live without Google and Facebook, but Facebook and Google cannot live without you. Remember that. All right. So thank you and see you in next video.